Welcome back, YouTube frogs. Don't pay attention to the bottom left. My Twitch frogs are making fun of me for having like 10 different takes to try to do the intro for this. But I hope you guys have been well. We just got notice a couple hours ago on the new banners coming in 2.1. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Baal's banner and also the Engulfing Lightning, I believe it's called, right? Engulfing Lightning banner. So I'm gonna break down the banners for you guys, give my impressions on them. But in general, I think this one's pretty cookie cutter. Character banner. I think this is a really solid character banner. We have the Raiden Shogun alongside new Sarah 4-star, Sucrose, and Xiangling. Now, Twitch chat, can you guys remind me how long ago? 1.3. Okay, that is a very long time ago. So according to my Twitch chat, Xiangling has not been on Raid Up since 1.3. That is about 4 to 5 months ago. And as you guys know, I've been talking a lot about this, but given that the Abyss is starting to get harder and harder, it is more recommended to start investing in high multiplier units like Xiangling. So, Sarah is coming out to be a support character. Xiangling is an offensive pyro, off DPS or hybrid DPS character. And Sucrose is 4-star Anemo crowd control character. Really good lineup here. I'm really liking it. And obviously Baal, right? If you guys are looking for specific constellations, I'm going to break down just Sucrose and Xiangling. The reason is because we don't know, we shouldn't know, definitely have not been looking at leaks at all. We don't know the constellations for Sarah and Baal yet, okay? So that means we only look at Sucrose and Xiangling to begin. For Sucrose constellations, C1 is great. Basically doubles the amount of ease that she has. She starts with 1 charge, and this basically gives her 2 charges, which is more energy recharge, also stacks on top of sacrificial fragments, right? So in general, this is a great constellation to be able to do 2 ease, which is more energy generation for the team. C2, also very strong. This increases the duration of her Q by 2 seconds. The default duration is 6 seconds, so this is a 33% increase, or I think 1 more tick of it. C3, C5, no changes, +3 levels. C4 is kind of not really noticeable. The only reason that you would pay attention to C4 Sucrose is if you're doing a specific taser comp or using Sucrose as the activator for a Xingqiu Beidou electrocharge composition. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look it up. If you do know what I'm talking about, this would help with that. And then obviously C6, right? So C6 is when her Q, the butterfly that she has, when it absorbs an element, all the party members gain a 20% elemental bonus for whatever color it is. So whatever element is absorbed. So for Sucrose constellations, C1, C2 are great. And then C6 is the damage increaser. So if you're close to C6 and you need support and you've been using Sucrose a lot, great to pick up. If you do not have Sucrose yet, I definitely would recommend that you pick up Sucrose. Those people who don't have Venti, don't have Kazuha, don't have general Anemo supports, Sucrose is a great crowd control unit besides the Anemo main character. All right, so that should be Sucrose. Xiangling constellations. I don't think I need to say much about it. I'm just going to go through it very briefly. C1 is a power reduction off of her E. C2 is a like hybrid main DPS Xiangling. Not really applicable for offensive sub DPS. This is more for like if she's on the field autoing. C3, +2 levels on the Q. This one's great. It's on the early stages of her constellations. C4 is probably the biggest one. 40% duration on Pyronado. Changes the length of her Q from 10 seconds to 14 seconds, which is a 70% uptime versus a 50% uptime. And you might not think this is that significant, but in terms of rotating for your characters, it's actually really beneficial because a 6-second duration allows you to switch to your 3 other characters and pop their abilities right away. So this is a perfect, easy rotation comp if you're running like the standard national team. So that is why C4 is so powerful, is because it allows her to rotate much better. C5 is +3 levels on elemental skill. And then finally, C6 is just general power damage bonus. So yeah, C4 is the biggest one to aim for if you are close. Everyone has a Xiangling. You get a Xiangling from, I believe, 3.3 of the Abyss. So like if you guys are newer players joining in 2.1 and you have a Xiangling and you're trying to save your Primo Gems for Raiden Shogun, for example, right? Aiming for C4 Xiangling is a plus if you can manage to get it. So closing thoughts on the character banner. We have Xiangling, one of the most broken characters in the game. We have Sarah, who is going to be one of 2 attack buffers in the game that we know, right? Bennett has always been a staple, but now that we have Sarah, I'm sure that you guys will enjoy having another attack buffer. You don't have to rely on Bennett 24/7. And Sucrose is a very easy to build Anemo crowd control character. This banner is stacked. It is a really strong banner, and I would highly recommend that you pull for it because every single character is quote-unquote meta, right? You would use them in most situations, okay? Even a Raiden Shogun, for example, right? Current capabilities that we see her, she is more of a support Archon than a DPS Archon, though she can do DPS. She's more... If you guys watched the previous video where I broke down my initial impressions on Baal, she's an energy recharge scaling electro-infused DPS Archon with a coordinated AoE sub-DPS aura and a team-wide energy restoration support capabilities. Okay? Great. Let's move on to the weapon banner. If you guys heard my voice sync, you know why. Don't pull this banner if you are free to play, budget, or dolphin. This is literally only for whales. MiHoYo is making it difficult, okay? Because the whales are going to be pulling for the engulfing lightning, but it's surrounded by weapons that whales don't fucking need. We don't need any of this. If you're a free-to-play player that is trying to go for engulfing lightning, take the catch, okay? Just use the catch. My chat is spamming the bell because I leveled up the bell for a Eula guide like way long ago. If you ever wanted to see what it looked like when it's upgraded, well, here you go. There's an R5 level 80 bell on your screen. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say. Though, if you are a dolphin and you really want to go for one engulfing lightning, I will talk about the Unforged. And I want to bring up attention to the Unforged because I think that people don't understand that it's not that bad. It's not that bad of a stat stick. But it's really just for whales, right? Sacrificial bow is like, okay, let's break it down this way. If you're a newer player to the game, F2P or low spender, you are not going to be pulling on the weapon banner at all for like the next 5 to 6 months because you are trying to stabilize your account so you can clear stuff, right? The 4-star weapons are perfectly fine. And with Inazuma with new craftables, it's totally fine. So the only people that this banner would be targeting are either F2Ps or low spenders that have been playing since the beginning of the game or whales. Now, people who have been playing since the beginning of the game, these weapons have been rated up like 3 times each. I don't think any of you guys need these weapons. If you do need them, then go for it, right? Favonius Lance is great, we know that. But besides that, the target audience for this is mostly the whales. Given that this is the case, let's briefly talk about the Unforged. Wolf's Gravestone has the exact same base attack and secondary attack that the Unforged has. So if you guys look, I can also pull this up on the wiki. The Unforged has 46 to 608 and has the same secondary stat. The Wolf's Gravestone has the exact same. So in terms of weapon stats, they are identical. Now their passives, Wolf's Gravestone is a team buffing claymore. 20% attack for self, 40% attack for party members when you hit an enemy below 30% HP. Unforged is similar. 20% shield strength and the same 20% attack, but in terms of stacks. So you get attacked by 4%, max 5 stacks, 20% attack, right? And this is doubled if you have a shield on. So if you have like Zhongli or Diona, for example, this weapon is maximized, right? This attack is basically the same as the Wolf's Gravestone. It's just 33% weaker. When you have full buffs on at R1, the Wolf's Gravestone gives 60% attack, whereas the Unforged with a shield grants 40% with max stacks. So that's the difference, right? At R5, it's the same. At R5, you get 40 to 80%. For Gravestone, it's 40 to 120%. So in terms of the value, they're the same type of stat stick, but the Wolf's Gravestone is generally better because it's a team-wide party buff. This is the Engulfing Lightning polearm. We have 55 energy recharge, base attack 608. So this is a medium base attack, 46 to start, 46 to 608. An attack is increased by 28% of the energy recharge over the base of 100%. So at 100% recharge, you get 0% attack. At 200%, you get 28%, etc., right? Maximum bonus of 80% attack. This basically means you need 350 to 400% recharge. But, you know, that's at R1. Gain 30% recharge for 12 seconds after using Elemental Burst. This polearm is a little bit different. This is an endgame polearm. And what I mean by endgame is that it grants you no crit stats, which means that it's much more difficult to build around. I'm sure that you guys have faced a lot of issues when you try to use non-crit based weapons. Your crit rate and crit damage go to shit. So this is an endgame. This is a whale weapon. If you have perfect stats and you have like 65 crit rate, 150 crit damage from your substats alone, which is very hard to do, then this weapon becomes extremely powerful. But if you don't have that, then it falls off pretty hard. So it's better, and I would recommend using more crit based weapons, for example, like Deathmatch, Staff of Homa, Jade Spear, etc., right? Those weapons will build easier, and then you can use an energy recharge timepiece and get the general stuff. Okay? So the catch is a little bit different, right? This weapon is free from the fishing association once we do certain stuff. And I'm assuming that we're going to be able to get refinements pretty easily. This is basically a baby version of the polearm, but it grants a little bit of elemental burst crit rate. On refinement, I believe this is probably going to be like 12% if we're doubling it, right? So 12% burst crit rate helps slightly with the build. You can view this as like half of Primordial Jade Spear. Primordial Jade Spear gives 22 crit rate. So the catch passive gives 12%, similar to the Skyward Spine that gives 8% on R1, right? Not really going to dive into the math too much about this. Engulfing Lightning. This polearm is really strong if you have crit rate, crit damage substats. So if you have 70 crit rate, 140 crit damage from your substats alone, the Engulfing Lightning polearm, which grants you recharge along with an energy recharge timepiece, will get you like over 200% already. Over 200% already will grant you the additional attack percent that you're missing from a timepiece, right? So basically this weapon is 2-in-1. This weapon is purely synergistic with Baal, also can be used on Xiangling and basically every single polearm I'm using besides Xiao, I guess. So closing thoughts on this weapon banner. This weapon banner, do not recommend at all. Just avoid this weapon banner. I'm going to be R5 in the Engulfing Lightning because I want a C6 R5 Baal. That's what I'm going to be doing, right? I'm going to be pulling on both banners. This is a great character banner. Please, if you can spare some Primo Gems to try to get at least a couple copies of Xiangling or get a Sucos for your team comp or grab a Sar for the attack buff or maybe even get a Raiden Shogun, this banner is a win from all angles. This banner is a lose from all angles. Fitting, huh? Quickly, I'm going to take a look at the update notice for 2.1. To those of you who are pre-installing, just in case you haven't already pre-installed when this video is being released, the file size is pretty large. For me, the file size was 18.5 gigabytes on desktop. I think for mobile, it's a lot smaller. I think people are saying it's about 2 to 3 gigs for mobile. So depending on what platform you're using, right? I think a lot of you guys are mobile gamers. Just keep in mind that the download is pretty hefty for desktop. Or could be hefty, okay? All right, new system, fishing. Yep, fishing. We're about to slap each other with Fish Claymore. I'm excited. All right, new characters. We just went over the new characters. New weapons, just went over them as well. New events, new local specialties. Oh, a bunch of recipes. Okay, so a lot more recipes being added. Achievements, more name cards for Sarah, Kokomi, Raiden, Aloy. Oh, okay, so Spiral Abyss Leyline Disorder changes. The Leyline Disorders. When opponents are defeated, all party members will be affected by the corrosion status. Characters being corroded will lose a fraction of their HP every second. Active characters can be brought down by corrosion. When a non-active character's HP is less than 15%, they will no longer lose HP due to corrosion. Are they trying to make Kokomi work? So, the question is, and I believe by the wording of this, is that I'm gonna guess that corrosion bypasses shielding. I feel like the corrosion here is reminiscent of the Gorge debuff that we get. Active characters can die from it. Wait, are they trying to nerf Zhongli? Wait! Floor 12 Leyline Disorders changed. We don't have high tide, low tide anymore. I kind of liked it. Okay, well, at least you guys get the Unga Bunga Smash now. You guys just can spam your abilities now. Updated the monster lineup already. That was fast. So the previous Abyss is already obsolete. It was literally just for 6 weeks. This might be one of the fastest swaps. Wait, no. So the Abyss stays the same for the first 2 weeks. We haven't updated yet, right? All right, so starting from after the refresh. So this is going to be September 16th, 15th, 16th. After a character uses an elemental burst, all party members' attack is increased by 6.5%. Maximum 7 stacks. It's Raiden Shogun meta. It's Baal meta. Okay, nice. Definitely didn't see that one coming. Well, this is really easy because this is just quick swap. I feel like this might be one of the easiest Abyss rotations because this is the most natural playstyle for Genshin. Unless the enemies are just god-awful. Phase 2, Cavorting Moon. For 10 seconds after a burst, we sacrifice 1% of our HP to deal AoE damage. Every 1 second. You can die from it. This is only a 2-phase Abyss, so I believe that it's gonna change again in 2.2. Okay, after the Genshin Impact 2.1, each top-up level of the Genesis Crystals will be reset to provide a double bonus. Reunion Blessing. Oh, wait, so they're basically incentivizing people to return. Okay, fuck. Optimizes the character's skill to lock on and attack the Rude Sentinels after the erase splits. Okay, that's fine. Wait, you're kidding me. Removes the Nobushi's skill to jump back. That's the fireworks move. It's good to remove this, but it makes it really much easier to deal with. Optimizes the combat experience when dealing with Nobushi's sword drawing technique. reduces the weight of the Nobushi and Kairagi. So MiHoYo was noticing in the charts that no one gives a shit about their Anemo Archon anymore because everyone's using Kazuha. So they decided to reduce their weight to bring Kazuha back. I mean, to bring Venti back. They really didn't like Kazuha taking the Anemo Archon glory, huh? Back to Venti Impact, boys. Wow. Increases the time that the Pyro Hypostasis core is exposed when it launches a Pyro Pillar attack. Okay, these are good small improvements to boss mechanics because I think the Cryo Hypostasis and the Pyro Hypostasis have very little time to actually do damage during their windows, which is really annoying for players that are just starting the game. So this is a good thing. Optimizes the sound effects when enhancing artifacts and weapons. All right, chat. We have more distinct sounds when we get trash pieces. Pog. New bundle Boundless Symphony will be added to the shop. Purchase the bundle to receive a special name card, furnishing, wind glider, and primos. Well, time to swipe again. Pog. All right, cool. All right, YouTube frogs. I think that should wrap it up. That should cover both the important things from the patch notes that I saw and also banner breakdown for both of the new character banner and weapon banner. Twitch frogs is saying goodbye to you guys. Thank you guys very much for watching as usual. Consider liking, subscribing, all that lovely stuff, and dropping by on twitch.tv/Xlice to join all the Twitch frogs at the bottom left who are spamming. Good luck on your polls. We'll see you when 2.1 drops. Take care.